The surface interval. So you've just been sort of on an amazing dive, you've explored a shipwreck and seen some amazing wildlife, but you can't stay down forever now, can you? At some stage you have to come back because you've run out of air or some other resource, or you're starting to get a little bit cold, or you need to pee. But as soon as you end a dive, you still need to behave, unfortunately, and there are some things that might seem fine to go and do, but are actually a big no-no. The first thing that you need to do is not leave your kit all over the place, so keep tidy and out of everyone's way. Leaving your stuff kind of everywhere is a really quick way to lose stuff and break it as well. But the actual things listed in today's video are a tad more serious, and most people don't really consider these things when they're diving. Granted, one of them is taught pretty thoroughly in your dive course, but the others are arguably just as important, but they are all kind of focused on your decompression basically, and just staying safe, to be honest. So let's take a look at 5 things you shouldn't do after a dive. Especially in cold climates, your first reaction after a cold dive is to warm up your hands, get a hot cup of coffee or hot chocolate, and just warm up in general. A warm shower or hot tub might feel like a good idea, but when you actually think about what it's actually doing, you may want to slow yourself down. Rapidly increasing your body temperature, or one part in particular, like your hands on a radiator, is the fastest way to speed up your decompression in that area. And that can actually lead to a decompression illness because these gases can form bubbles. When you see medical professionals throw those silver space blankets over people, they're not trying to warm them up as quickly as possible. Those silvery space blankets let your body warm itself up at its own rate and prevent further heat loss. You, unfortunately, need to warm up slowly just after a dive so that dissolved gases in your tissues can come out of solution at a safe rate. Jumping onto the sun deck as well to top up your tan can increase this rate as well, to the point where bubbles may form, so try to sort of warm up slowly wherever you are. This one is usually drummed into you in your diving course, and you actually see it sometimes on medical dramas where the doctor is away on holiday on an aeroplane and somebody falls ill. Turns out that that person was diving the day beforehand, and the drop in pressure on the plane, or even just, going up a big hill or a mountain, is enough to rapidly accelerate their decompression. If you're diving at sea level, then try to stay at sea level for a day or two before going up too far so you don't decompress too fast. The ambient pressure of your environment is the whole reason why we can't ascend too fast on a dive, and the pressure keeps dropping as we go up in mountains, and those dissolved gases in some of your tissues can take days to dissipate, so don't go booking any flights, mountain hikes, zipline tours, or anything up high too soon after your dive. Just give it 24 to 48 hours just to be safe. Yep, sorry guys and girls, hands off that mini fridge or bar stool. There can't be any drinking after a dive. Well, clarification first, do drink, but only good hydrating stuff like water. Try to stay off alcohol as long as possible because alcohol has a blood thinning effect, and that's not going to affect your decompression in a good way. It also dehydrates you, which again is bad for your decompression, impairs your movement and judgment, which can mask signs and symptoms of DCS, all on a moving boat with heavy, expensive things that can fall over. Geez, why do we drink alcohol again? So yeah, if your first instinct is to crack open a beer after a dive, then, put it back in the fridge and grab the water bottle next to it. The same for coffee, another diuretic. You can have some, but remember to hydrate as much as possible after a dive. To stay safe after a dive, you want to be fed and watered as much as possible so your body is working at 100% and isn't struggling with anything, and it can focus on the decompression. This is exactly why I love scuba diving. Everything about diving is basically an excuse to be lazy. Don't swim against the currents, just turn it into a drift dive. After a dive, you need to take it easy, so no running, no heavy lifting, just take it easy and let decompression happen. From my experience, very few divers look at their surface interval and think to themselves, I could fit a gym session into this time. But while there doesn't seem to be any actual concrete evidence to not go to the gym sooner soon after a dive, it's widely recommended as a nah, don't do that. The gym can wait. If you have excess energy that you feel the need to burn off, then, I don't know, do some research on how to cure cancer or how to turn the world onto more renewable energy. Just don't jump on a treadmill. It's probably gonna do you more bad than good just after a dive. Oh, and this doesn't give you the excuse that you can't carry your tank back to the fuel station or anything. Just, take it easy after a dive. Yeah, this one sucks too, I know, but when you look at the deep tissue massage leaflet and it promises deep relaxation and improved blood flow, darn it, no thanks. As with most of these, in case you haven't got the message yet, increased blood flow just after a dive is a bad thing. You can rub an achy shoulder and stretch a little bit, but a full body massage can release a lot of dissolved gases trapped in tissues that are now circulating around the system where they really shouldn't be. So feel free to sort of light some incense or something, as long as it's not too close to any nitrox tanks or filling stations or anything. But sorry, no massages after a dive. Now this list does make your surface interval sound pretty boring, but there are plenty of things that you can do on a surface interval, like fill in your logbook, wash your dive kit down and hang it up properly, check your emails. Now, you can do things on your surface interval, just take it easy and remember that your dive, or at least your decompression, doesn't end as soon as you hit the surface. But what more should you not do just after a dive? I know of a few more, I just want to test if you guys know them. And what should you do just after a dive? Let's end on a positive note. Thanks for watching, and of course, safe diving. So yeah, if your first instinct is to crap open a beer, it's not working. So you get to see migrating species, and basically don't visit during the monsoon season. So do your homework first and plan ahead. As a rather unfortunate rule of thumb, the more expensive the trip is, the kind of better it is in my experience. So let's take a closer look at bucket list dive sites for 2020.